Howdy, everybody, and welcome to Real Talk episode number 21. And tonight we're going to have a special guest when I get him, Shannon Soaps. I hope you're all doing great this evening. Hello. Looks like Loy Kirk joined. Kim Gray. Hello, hello. Have a little blue moon we're working with here. Shannon's is there. Let's see if we can add Shannon's real quick. Just a moment. Standing by. Or standby, I should say. Thanks. It's good to see you all. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Razor Company, Go Hobbs, Red Wing Fan, Big Dude Barbas. Got a lot of folks. All right. Let me see if I can add Shannon's here. I'm looking for my normal button to add. There we go. Bear with me just one moment, please. There we go. Hey, Gerald. And I apologize if I'm missing some folks. Thank you so much, HD. Appreciate it. M2 Shaves. No box. No questions. Though you can feel free to ask your questions. Oh, hello. Look who we have. If it isn't Beauty and the Beast.
Yep. Oh, thanks.
Sorry, Shannon.
Nope. Okay. Hey, I wore something for you.
What is that?
Oh, you can't see that.
We'll get to that later. I have a question about that later, so don't worry. We'll get to it. So how are you all this evening? Do you have a drink of the evening by any chance?
Well, water here for one.
Okay, very good.
And for later, a home brew.
That's dangerous.
This is a Belgian double that my dad and I brewed about a month ago. So
okay.
It's
Shannon?
ready.
Does he have life insurance, I wonder?
Yes, he does.
Okay, good for you.
He's actually, what?
It's only 8% alcohol, Chris. No biggie.
That's enough. You are from Cleveland.
And it's delicious. I've tried it. So.
Well, this is just a very basic Blue Moon, which is good enough for me. I don't need the swanky homebrew.
Blue Moon's good too.
So, how's everybody in the Shannon Soaps household today? And I must ask you out the gate, do they ever call you Mr. Shannon?
I don't think I've ever been called that.
You have now. Bam.
You're welcome to. Call me anything you want, Chris, within reason.
Okay,
well,
very good.
We wrapped up a couple birthdays. Actually, the boy's birthday was last week, and then Robin's was today. So we've had lots and lots of cake the last 2 weeks.
Is that why Brian's been so wound up?
Yes.
Yes. And you'll apologize. Occasionally, I do have questions. So if you see me looking down, I'm going to be marking some things off as I go, as I pepper you with these very difficult questions. So, it might be tough for you this evening.
Shoot. Whatever.
So how's everybody?
People who are on it.
Yeah. By the way, feel free to ask your questions, folks. Type them in, submit them, and I will get to them at some point during the...
I don't have my glasses on, so...
Oh, that's okay.
I'll read it.
Brian can read it.
Yeah, I can.
Well, they'll pop up, and so let's get into it. So what we normally do... David, by the way, probably will not be here tonight because he's coaching softball. So they're opening things back up in California, and he's coaching softball, and hopefully all those kids aren't spreading the Rona all over the place, but I guess we'll see. Hopefully he remains Rona free. But anyway, so you're stuck with me, sadly. I know that's going to be a little bit less exciting, but it is what it is.
Hey, it's pretty exciting for us, Chris. So.
Okay, good. First of all, announce yourselves. Who are you?
I'm Shannon of Shannon Soaps, and
Shannon,
this is Brian, or
also
Mr.
known
Shannon.
as Mr. Shannon.
Mr. Shannon.
Right. Yes, Mr. Shannon from now on.
And yes, we are in outside of Cleveland.
Okay.
Because you love Cleveland.
We'll talk about that later. But
oh.
let me ask, how long have you been making soaps?
Altogether, 10 years.
How long have you been making shaving soaps?
I think it's like 7, right? 8.
7 years.
7 or 8, yeah.
So I've lost kind of track.
How did you? Go ahead.
It was before the boys we started the shave soap.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little over 8 years then, because the boys just turned 8. So.
How did you stumble into making shaving soaps?
The shaving soaps?
Well, the shaving soaps The story for the whole soap adventure is kind of interesting, and it just has to do with
Time's up. Next question. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it just has to do with me having skin problems. So everybody I think comes from my dad's side. My dad, my sisters, we all have sensitive skin. My sisters have really bad eczema and whatnot.
Oh.
So we had been buying the glycerin soaps from like Bath and Body Works because anything else just dries me out or gives me little blisters on my hands or whatever. So
wow.
I said to the chemist over here, I said, "Hey, can't you make me some soap? I found a recipe here on the internet, so get to it." And she said, "No, you're crazy. I'm not going to do that. Forget about it." Mm-hmm. And one day she called me from Lowe's, I think, and she said, "What was the name of the drain cleaner that was 100% lye?" And I said, "Well, why?" She says, "Because I'm going to use it to make soap." And I said, "Oh, well, okay." So she did. She cooked it up, and by the time I got home from work, it was sitting there curing on the kitchen table. And it just kind of went from there. The shaving soap came about because
I don't even remember. I know you remember, but I don't remember.
Right. My summer job from college was working at a drugstore, and I purchased. They were clearing out Schick Tracer cartridges, and I bought, with my employee discount and clearance price, I paid almost nothing for them, and I bought enough to last me for years. And also I had an electric razor, and the blades on that eventually gave up the ghost. So, I started looking around for, some other razors to buy, right? And you stumble upon, Gillette products, and just the cost of the cartridges just blew me away. So, I started looking for an inexpensive way to shave, and double edge kind of. I found that, and it was a natural fit, right? You're making soap, and by that time we were selling it to friends and neighbors and stuff like that, and it just kind of went from there. We had no idea when we started this that there was such a huge community that all the Facebook groups,
inexpensive,
and right, inexpensive.
Little did we know.
Right, but we had no idea the community that was out there. So we just started making shaving soap that that I liked, and I'll credit partially the knowledge of the chemistry of how it works. And careful experimentation that we stumbled upon a good recipe, and people started to talk about it, and the rest is history.
Shannon, at any point to just look at Brian and go, "You need to grow stronger. You need to grow stronger. I'm tired of this."
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. I'm like, can I just go to Target and buy soap? No, I can't.
Let me ask you.
I still can't. It's terrible.
He mentioned
he can't use it. He can't use any liquid. Like when the boys were babies, he had to use my soap on them, because even the baby soap, like even like what was it, California Baby? Yeah, his whole hand would
I quit,
flare up in blisters.
I quit using anything else, and then you'd use baby shampoo or baby body wash for the kids, and I'm like, what? Where did this come from? Why am I getting the blisters on my hands again? And that's what it was from. Yeah, so we started washing them in her soap as well.
Now, you mentioned her background. What is your background in Shannon that lends itself to soap making?
I have a degree in chemistry with a minor in biology. I also have a teaching certificate in English, and I'm one class short of a second bachelor's degree in English. But I'm not doing that. I'm done.
Well, someday maybe.
No, because it would be poetry writing. I talked to Robin with this. I'm not writing poetry.
Okay.
I mean, she could do it for me, maybe.
Well, I would
So
say
that's
I would prefer the soap myself, just for me, more so than the potpourri. But that's not going to surprise
Oh,
anybody.
yeah. Low
Uh,
scent, Mr. Shannon.
what was the
No, I
first?
didn't.
I'm sorry.
That was
Go ahead.
Art. No, Art said low scent, Mr. Shannon.
Low scent, Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Shannon.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, that's true too.
What was the first scent that you made in a shaving soap? I imagine probably the first one was probably unscented, but when you did put a scent in the soap, what was the first one?
I think it was amaretto.
Might have been.
I think it was
Might have
amaretto.
been.
Or maybe lavender lemongrass. That was a very,
That's a
very,
good one.
very early.
That was an early one, yeah. And
It was one of those two.
Barbershop was pretty early, and Silk Pajamas was pretty early too as well.
Now, the other day when I said I made the video and I said pajamas, that's the way I've said it my whole life. And she said, I liked your English take on pajamas. Is that an English thing or is it just, I don't know.
I say pajamas.
Yeah, me too.
But, you know, we're up here.
We're Northerners, so, you know.
But
pajamas it is.
My kids watch
Either way,
Bananas in Pajamas.
Well, because that's
Australian.
Australian.
What's your best-selling scent of your line, if you had to guess?
We were talking about this.
It depends.
It depends is a good way to describe it.
Okay.
I think we sell a lot of barbershop.
That's a good one.
We sell a lot of Silk Pajamas.
That's a good one.
Yeah, those I think are probably the top two. But you know, you started the charge, I think, and David with Lavender Lemongrass, and
That's a very good one. Yeah.
That's the way it goes a lot of times, right? Like, you know, Lavender Lemongrass. The reason Maggots doesn't have it right now is because we were going to kill it.
Like,
and
okay,
then,
so hold on. We've been at Maggots for 6 or 7 years, right? I was going to kill it 6 or 7 years ago. Like,
wow.
When they initially ordered, I was like, well, I'm not going to be making that anymore.
And then it gets mentioned.
Then you open your mouth. Then,
yeah.
It's really good. It's a nice combination of, because sometimes people don't necessarily care for lavender by itself. And some people aren't for the sort of citrusy vibe of lemongrass, but when you put them together, I think it's excellent, and I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorites.
Taylor likes Forest City Fern.
I'm just reading the comments.
It's a good one.
Taylor?
I don't know if I've smelled that one. I might have. I can't recall. I probably have.
That was like our first Rust Belt one. So it's been that one's been
first Rust Belt was Etheria.
No. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I have certainly tried that.
I forgot about that.
Let me ask you, it seemed like it took a while for Shannon's to catch on. Like, and I mean that in the way that other brands catch on and get attention and get mentioned and mentioned and mentioned. But it seems like now it is happening. What would you say would be the turning point where people began to discover the brand more and sales began to pick up? At what point, or was there an event that triggered it, or a series of events?
Well, I think it's our sales have grown every year since we started doing it, and I think the real impetus was kind of when we got into Maggots and people started noticing it. But you know, you're right. We get mentioned a lot of times as underrated and under the radar and things like that. And I think we both tend to agree with that. You know, certainly now doing things like this, and you know, a lot of the guys are using it to do YouTube videos and lives now, and it's catching fire now. I think more than it ever has.
Well, it helps that we added several retailers last year too.
That's true too.
We added
Stonefield. Now, I will say, one of them reached out to me.
Yes.
And they said, what do you think about? Oh yeah, one of them reached out to me. One of the ones that's really gaining a lot of steam now reached out to me and said, what do you think about Shannon's soap? I said, I love it. Get it. I mean, you won't be sorry. And I think they are selling very well, so that's great.
Well, Chris, you know, we appreciate the support, certainly. Yeah.
Well, it's a selfish thing. I want it to be easier for me to get with low shipping costs. It's purely selfish on my part.
The shipping is all post office. There's nothing.
No. I'm just talking about in certain companies, you can get a deal on shipping. No, actually, I like, for me, if I like something, I like other people to be able to try it. And if they enjoy it, of course, that makes me happy. And so the more I see it in different stock lists, the better for everybody as far as I
think it's better for everybody. Like, I think it's better for everybody, the whole community.
Everybody.
If things are spread out, because everyone's so supportive.
So we might as well just take this opportunity to go ahead and thank everybody. Everybody that's on, everybody that purchases, everybody that reaches out to us and spreads the word. It's important to us, and we really appreciate it. We really do. But going back to being kind of unknown and underrated and all that, I think we're just generally kind of low key people.
I'm INFJ.
Yeah,
I did my Briggs Myers.
We're introverts. We're Midwesterners.
I always call you mid-northerners. I kind of
okay.
When I think of the Midwest, I think of Texas, but it's neither here. I'm kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time.
So we are kind of South Canada to all the Canadian Mafia members out there. We're
right across the lake.
Right across the lake. So
now let me ask you a question.
Literally 3 miles from the lake.
Let me ask you a question about, in recent years, we've seen definitely a trend in adding more and more oils and butters and skin foods and things that are good for the skin, allegedly, in the shaving soaps. Is there a point in time, or is there a ratio at which you hit where, to me, there's sort of a balance between ease of use, skincare, and all that? I mean, I don't want to, like I always say, I don't want to take chemistry equipment into the bathroom to lather soap. I want it to lather.
No.
Can you go too far in the pursuit of skin food and make it difficult to use?
Yes.
Okay. That's a good enough answer.
Well, yeah, I mean,
every
Go
oil,
ahead, soap lady.
Every oil makes a kind of a different lather. Some make a creamier lather, some make a bubblier lather, some make a fluffy lather, some make a moisturizing lather. So you have to balance what you're using. Like coconut oil, you can use straight on your skin; it feels really good. But if you make it into a straight coconut oil soap, it's drying, and it will it'll strip all the oils out of your skin, and then it just leaves it dry. Whereas coconut oil, if you use it straight, it soaks in real nice. So you have to balance, how much you're saponifying them and how much super fat you leave in.
I think that's probably what he's talking most about, are the additives. Right?
Yeah, it's in some cases I've found, with the trends being what they are, is I gotta have a lot of skin foods on the label. For me, in a few cases I found it makes it a little difficult to work with, and the soap almost disappears into the brush, or you have to use a little more volume, and you don't get as much volume out of the soap. What I find is, and I say this all the time, and it's not because you're here, because I've said it in my videos many times. When I use yours,
I know
the ease of use is there. I scoop it out, I put it in the bowl. I've showed people the way I lather it. I put a ton of water in there, and it takes it with no problem. But you can't necessarily do that with every soap yet. Some are far more finicky about what they will handle. And for me, if I can't do it the way I want to do it, I don't want to do it. And I've lathered tons and tons of soap, and I like them. I love the idea of skin food in there and helping your skin and making it feel great. But if it doesn't lather, I don't want it. What's that?
Art says, who would have thought shaving is intro to STEM? Yes, we do a lot of STEM in this house.
Oh, we could get deep into it, man.
No, I don't want to.
What scent are you most proud of?
My favorite is Etheria.
Etheria? Yeah. That's a good one.
That's
a complex scent.
But the new one is like my second favorite, which is really hard for me to say because I have a lot of them that
You're
I
talking
really
about
like.
the indigo oud.
The indigo oud.
I'll ask you a question about that coming up, because people have questions about that.
Oh, okay.
Now,
I do have girly bar soaps. Hold on, somebody asked about.
Okay.
I'll work on manly
My girl
soaps.
loves her bar soaps.
And folks, by the way,
on
if you have questions, put them in the official question place, and I'll post them up later so they can see those. But one of the questions that's come up for me from several people, and Shady was the first one to bring it up, is will you ever This is a big question. This could be a deal killer for some people.
Oh no, I know where this is.
You know what's coming. Will you ever make an alcohol splash?
A what? Hold on, what?
Alcohol. Will you ever put alcohol in a splash? That question came up a lot this week.
See, the reason I don't do alcohol is purely shipping, because
gotcha.
you can't airship, so everything would have to be by ground. Now I know some people still ship by air.
Yeah.
But I don't need to. I would be the one to get the plane blown up by shipping it, and I would no.
Hey,
I understand.
Any publicity is good publicity, yeah. Right? Even taking down a plane.
Well, the next question follows in here. Steve wants to know.
Well, it's not paying extra, Lord Shady. It's that it would take like forever to get to you.
Steve wants to know.
Shipping is bad enough.
If you can add your own alcohol. So is there a particular type of alcohol that's, presumably, because I don't know, I'm not a fragrance person. I don't know. Obviously, you're not going to the drugstore and buying isopropyl alcohol and putting it in a splash. I mean, it's got a scent.
No.
That's not
no,
it.
I think it's probably ethanol that's in there. Like, because I get the witch hazel. Like, if you go to the store and buy witch hazel, it almost always has alcohol in it already. But the stuff I buy is alcohol free. So, I mean, you could, but what you could probably do is ask, like, say, hey, I'm going to add alcohol to it, and then I just won't add as much water, and then you could fill it up with a little. But I have to do some math to figure out.
It would have to be ethyl alcohol, or
probably yeah.
I would
like
think
Everclear.
So. Ethanol, but
you can put your own Everclear in it.
So
yes, I would also have to get certified for the alcohol.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have like a license.
What's your favorite product to make? Of the things you make?
Oh.
Just any of them?
Can I say my least favorite product?
No, don't.
My least favorite product are the bath bombs.
I can understand that.
They're just messy. The dust gets everywhere. Yeah, you'd use perfumer's alcohol, not denatured. Denatured is bad. Like you don't want to use denatured on you if you can help it, unless you're like cleaning up gasoline.
Denatured is toxic.
Yeah, it's toxic. So don't use denatured on your face.
What do you think sets you apart from other artisans? And that's not to say downplay or insult any other artisan, but what do you think makes Shannon's different?
I well, you know, it's a tough one. I mean, certainly, you point out the value that's there, right? Particularly in the standard formula. I mean, there's a lot of expensive ingredients in there, and it's a very reasonable price. So, and that's not to say others don't do that. You know, you can follow any thread about what are the the least expensive soaps and all that, and any number of names will come up. But I mean, I think that's one thing. I think the other thing, you said it earlier, it's easy to lather. It's very consistent.
It's very consistent. Yeah.
There's a wide sweet spot, and all of that. You correct me if I'm wrong. That's pretty much by design, because here in South Canada / Northeast Ohio, we've got hard Lake Erie water, so nothing bubbles very well here. Yeah. So it was hard for her to formulate something that really worked well in any type of water. And when it was formulated, right, I didn't know how to use a brush and soap. I had no idea, right? Yeah. I mean, videos, like the ones that you have done and that Mantic has done and things like that. I began to learn, but it had to be stupid easy to lather because I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. So we tried and tried and tried until we came up with a formula that, and I say we, I really mean this lady here for the most part. But, I supervised, very effectively supervised
You took
all
the
her
child. You
work.
took the child out of the way, so she didn't.
Yeah, I
Because
was.
Robin would have been really little. Robin was little.
That's our daughter. I was the guinea pig, so I'm going to take a lot of credit
He was
here
a guinea pig.
for the success. But
I'm going to take.
you know,
I have more questions, but I'm going to
I
go
love
ahead
these-
and
I love
take
these
a.
comments. They're hilarious.
And Nate, Locent Skeletor says, Brian's lather looks thin. He needs to work on it. So how do you respond to that, Brian?
he's not looking at my lather.
Well, that's what he says.
I'm not lathering right now. He just says that because I tell him every time he's adding too much water. And
Well, this question
look,
you already answered. Go ahead.
You know our soaps can take a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
So
If you had too much.
you're okay, Nate. It's fine. We're just messing with you. We love you.
Gerald wanted to know what sets you apart from other folks, and we already talked about that one. So let's, Here we go. Art says, can I find your soaps at past tours?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Very good. Let me ask, do you happen to know
to
what
be fair,
stock
I don't-
lists?
No. At Pastures, do I have it somewhere? Yes. Do I have it like up here? No.
Do you happen to know, Brian, what stock list you're in? Like the major ones?
You
For
mean
example,
as far as
who's carrying your product?
Oh, yes.
okay.
Hold on. No. Hold on. Hopefully I don't miss anybody, and I'm sorry if I do, because it's growing, so I don't want to forget anybody. So there's Mertz.
Yep.
There's Maggards. There's a Razor Company. There's Stonefield in Winnipeg.
Now, Stonefield, okay, in Canada. Okay.
In Canada. Pastures.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a local shop here that's carrying some of my stuff. Hold on.
Oh, we're working on a couple.
And then there's a couple we're working on.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin it or anything because we're not quite ready, but we're working on a couple others, and it should be fairly exciting, I think, if we're able to make that happen.
Yes.
So I'll just leave it
Excellent.
there.
They're kind of farther away.
Right.
Sweet Baby Ray wants to know, when is the re-release of Pineapple Banana? Because it smells fire.
Well, Maggards just reordered some. So I believe it was in the batch that I made this past week. So hopefully it'll be to Maggards in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, originally that was intended to be just a seasonal.
Yeah, and
But,
everybody keeps asking for it. So
Yeah, that's exactly the reaction that we've gotten, Ray, and everybody else that loves it is same thing with Lavender Lemongrass. We tried to kind of kill it.
Yeah.
The pineapple banana,
it is delicious.
yeah, I mean, we tried to make that a seasonal, and people just ask for it. So generally speaking, if you ask us for it, we'll give it to you. So if Maggards wants to order a bunch, we will gladly
I'm not going to tell
send
them
them
no.
some for you guys.
I'm just not going to tell them no. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a lot of artisans do strictly like, this is only available this month, so this month. I'm making soap. I can make it with a different.
We're accommodating people.
Yeah,
we're easy.
When do you plan to make a mentholated shaving soap?
Oh, I do have one.
We do have one.
Oh, which one is that?
Aussie Ice has menthol in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a touch, not a ton.
one's
No,
coming.
it has a decent no.
Oh, okay. I
It's
didn't
about
think
2.5%.
it wasn't a face
menthol.
freezer.
It's not a face freezer. We had a lemon freeze that was a face freezer a while ago.
Junior
Yeah.
told Nate he gets excited for unscented soaps.
I have unscented soap.
We have an unscented soap.
I have a nil that's in the regular formula, and I'm thinking of adding the goat's milk nil to the rotation on the website.
That's what the unscented is called. It's called nil.
Triple
No,
milled shaving soap.
that soap, that particular question, these small artisans are not in a position to make triple milled
I'm not
soap
doing
for the
that.
most part.
Anyway, but the cool thing about the nil is if you have a fragrance that you want, you can like get it to mix in if you're careful.
Triple milled is a tough one because it requires a lot of equipment.
When-
It's expensive. So
When's Indigo Oud coming out? That was a question I got. You've been sending out samples and you've been
Yeah.
I know.
luring people in for some time, and now they're like, when can I get it?
Well, it was originally supposed to be ready for Maggards last year.
Oops.
But then COVID hit, and things just got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. We're working on getting a label for it. And my soap, I was hoping to make it soon, but I've got lots of orders to fill for Maggards and Mertz and Timeless and Razor Company. Thank you, Razor Company.
So that's been one of the complaints. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Like, I feel like the shoemaker's son, the shoemaker's kids never get shoes. Right. So the scent just keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah.
But the kids are at school 5 days a week. Knock on wood.
So maybe soon.
So hopefully I'll be able to crank out a little. It was things got dicey there when they were home online. Mm-hmm. And we have twin boys that are 8 in first grade, and one is very ADD. So it was 2.5 hours of crap every morning. It was awful. I couldn't. No.
The short answer is we're working on it. Should be soon.
So
when you pause, I'm in there. I'm like, bam. Another.
I know you're really fast.
Yeah.
What does your testing process sort of look like? And that question came from John. Like, how do you begin the process? How does it work?
That was okay. So for the most part, I haven't changed the formula of the soap, of the base, for quite some time. I just like it too much to tinker with it. I don't want to tinker with it.
I wouldn't change it.
But it took about a year. We came up with a list of oils and butters that we wanted to use. Ones that were good for the skin without being too pricey, so that there was a nice balance. So we started just by changing percentages and playing with how much water, how much that, and that's actually how we ended up with that colored soap at the beginning.
That was a question. Someone asked a question about how did you get the green soap to start with.
So each batch, I would do something slightly different with each batch, and I could write the label on there, but that never really made sense to me. Like, I couldn't remember which one was which. So I put a color in, so I knew, okay, the blue one had this, this, and this in it, and the green one had this, this, and so it just kind of stuck because the green one won.
And it was also kind of attention getting as well. The fact that somebody's asking you that, and we haven't had green soap for 7+ years, means that it made an impression.
Taylor, I'll totally do more. I have it.
I think as far as the scents go, if that was part of the question, is it's just
scents
the scents take us a while to develop.
Depending.
We've been trying to do more and more in-house kind of blending. Mm-hmm. From scratch kind of stuff, and it just takes us a while sometimes to do. But a lot of that comes from you guys, right? What you're asking for. I can see things popping up here about, would you do this or would you do that or whatever. And, we're in the Facebook groups. We monitor forum chatter and stuff like that. And, try to, we're not stalkers, but, we try to give people what they want. And, we'll get out and we'll smell things, colognes and things like that, or, think about where there's a hole in the lineup. The Botanica is a chypre, right? We didn't have one, so we thought, well, that's something we could try, and that took a year to develop too. So,
but Lakeshore, I wanted to do an aquatic, so Lakeshore was came together in an afternoon.
Yeah, that was an evening.
It was, I think it was less than an evening. I was like, okay, I want this isn't I pulled out the ingredients that I wanted. I'm like it was like magic. It just went together. And then sometimes you find out when you test it in the soap that
it doesn't work.
The soap mutates the scents. The pH in the soap can change a lot of the oils. Mm-hmm. So the Black Magic took 6 months because it smelled so great. Oh, it was so perfect right out of the bottle. You put it in the soap, and the soap smelled like Play-Doh. like what?
So it's a process too.
So you come up with the fragrance and then you put it in the stuff. You're like, oh, didn't work. So, and a lot of that is you learn as you go, but a lot of it there's almost no predicting, like because there's just too many different kinds of fragrances out there.
When do you think Chris. David Gonzalez will have a tribute soap?
Well, if he were here, we were thinking about announcing one, but
sorry, David,
I don't see him.
You missed your opportunity.
It's hard, right? Because who do you pick and who do you leave out? You know what I mean?
Apparently, David Gonzalez would leave
well,
out.
Well, certainly, sure, David, absolutely. But yeah.
I don't want. I'm not putting you on the spot. This was just a fun question, so you don't really have to.
Well, it's a good question. I mean, we said it before. We appreciate all that you guys do for us, but it's we don't know who to pick, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pin you down on that one.
It would be like trying to pick a favorite kid.
Let me ask a better question. When is Barbershop going to be back in stock? Because someone wanted to know. James.
Where do you mean it's not back in stock? Well,
I don't know. That's what James asked.
Where at? Where at?
Probably your website. I guess. I don't know.
Okay, but almost never do the shave soaps go out of stock because I have them set. I have it set to never go out of stock. So if something is out of stock, something is broken.
So let us know.
But the razor company just reordered some.
Good question.
If they were looking for
who is David Gonzalez?
if they were looking for it at Razor Company just ordered a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, cool. Glad to hear that.
Razor Company has some stuff coming.
Yeah, everybody has ordered all at once.
Razor Company has stuff coming to them soon that I think everyone will like. But that's all I'm going to say on that.
Why have the Browns been so bad since Jim Brown left?
Since Jim Brown
left?
Basically since Jim Brown left.
You have to give us the mid.
Terrible.
You have to give us most of the 80s.
Cardiac Kids.
Biner fumbling, Brian Sipe throwing interceptions. The Steelers dominated him at all times.
Chris.
Next question.
Hold on. Here, hold on. Where is he?
What you got? Oh yeah, hold on. Wait, we got him. Hold on.
We have our paper.
You'd be better off to pull out the Jim Brown. Jim Brown, even at his age now, would probably be of more help.
Hey man,
I like Baker.
Look, this past season,
I just checked it.
This past season, we're happy campers here.
All right, back to the viewers.
Sorry, Drew, I'm sorry about your sister, and I'm sorry that your wife stole your
me
soaps.
too. Sorry for your loss, Drew.
Yes, Drew.
What's your favorite artisan other than yourself? Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know how you tread the water on that one.
I don't know, because he tends to just use the leftovers. That
I do that.
I don't know about the jams.
Who's my favorite? That's a tough one. Well, look, there's a lot of good people that do this. We hang out on the Facebook groups and we mix it up with some of them. Chris Cullen of Katie's Bubbles is a good guy. I've we've met some other folks at the Maggard meetup. I gotta say,
you've enjoyed pretty much everything you've used, so it's hard to pick.
Yeah, I think there's also I think I've got a special place in my heart for Mike's, just because it's kind of low key.
Mike's is a great one, yeah.
And it's kind of like us, right? It performs well, simple, works, and just kind of low key. So
I got to ask you, what product are you really, really proud of that doesn't sell as well as you think it should? Like, what's the one that you're like, I don't know why people aren't buying this?
Can I do it? Lit.
It's been so long. It's been years and years and years since I've smelled that one, so I don't remember what it smells like.
Lit is not my favorite, but Lit is cool and interesting.
I love it.
He loves it. It smells.
What does it smell like?
It's the smoky one. It's got smoke and jasmine and
This just came up on one of the Facebook groups. Somebody was asking about it. Who was that? I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's a smoky scent, and it's got kind of florals sweet florals in the background.
Oh,
See,
no, it smells
you're making
good.
a face.
Okay, so it like when you
You're
first
making a
open,
face.
I
The
always
minute you
thought
say
it was
sweet
pumpkin.
florals,
I know.
No. It's like a jasmine, and it's got a little bit of jasmine, a little bit of rose.
I start seeing
I
blue-haired
think it's been a
ladies
while.
in the church when you start saying
No,
sweet florals.
No, it's more almost like a fireside, like burning leaf. No, not quite.
It's smoky with florals in the background, and I love it. And we don't sell a whole ton of it. And I guess smoky scents are kind of polarizing, I think.
They are.
And some people love them, some people just hate them, and I think maybe that's part of it. But would you have a different one?
Well, and the neat thing about lit is when you open the jar, like you're like, not sure.
It's
but
all
then
smoke.
it's as you lather
You
it,
have
like
to lather it to
the
understand.
layers of it come up. So I don't
Forest City Fern.
I don't think fern gets the love
I think
that I have for it.
whenever we send out some samples, that's one of the ones I say try to include, because
Mertz added fern because their buyers liked it so much.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
But it's we sell a lot of $11.95 soap. We sell a lot of standard stuff. The premium stuff, the Rust Belt stuff, doesn't sell as much because it is more expensive.
And because Chris thinks it.
And because Chris says it has chupacabra oil in it.
This is all I need. Honestly,
I know.
the chupacabra,
I know.
the chupacabra formula, which is the goat's milk one, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, for me, I just simply do not need it. It's more than what I need. And at this point, I will take an aftershave break using Shannon's pina colada. Because my wife isn't here, so I can use as much as I want to, which is really nice. I can just really load it up and smell like a pina colada.
I like my soap being a soap. Like I would rather people use like their favorite post-shave lotions and balms and stuff. Just like, like I would use a shampoo, a conditioner, and then like I wouldn't want a shampoo and a conditioner one. I hate that. No, I need my separate products.
And this one has a menthol, which gives it a nice little cooling on the backside.
Yes, you can choose menthol or not.
Yeah, that's good. Honestly, these splashes for me, I prefer alcohol just from the standpoint of being a traditionalist. I just like it.
Yeah.
The thing I think that a lot of people, the reason that they tend to prefer alcohol is I think a lot of people are under the impression, I don't know if this is right or wrong, that it sort of anchors the scent in there longer and it gives it more longevity. I don't know if it does or does not, but a lot of people are under that impression. But this one here is really wonderful. Pina colada. Barbershop's great. Well, I have a stack over here. Let's see.
Oh, goodness. How do I figure?
I mean, let's see. I'm going to have it.
To answer the question that's on the screen, how do I figure out how to make a scent? I pick
I'm trying to
top,
wrangle
middle.
these.
Oh, that City of Champions, man. So I pick I pick something that I want at the top, something that I want from the middle, and something I want from the bottom.
Oh no!
You're lucky
they all went in the floor.
Chris.
Good thing.
That's right.
Good.
This is why I use
they
plastic, because when I drop them, they're all good. There's no problem. Anyway, I had about 10 of them here I was going to show. So they're all on the floor now, except for 5.
Oh no!
Well, they're in nice, durable plastic containers, and they'll all be fine. So no problem.
Well, you're one of the reasons why we did plastic.
And they're made here in the U.S.
Good.
They're U.S. made.
Which one was that?
This is one of my favorites. Now, I realize that
you moved it too fast. I couldn't read it.
This scent, I realize you can get a very similar version of this in other places, but it's really, really nice. There's several different versions of Barbershop that are sort of close in the realm of like American Blend from Fine or Maggard London Barbershop, sort of similar to the, but they're all good. And I actually own them all, even though they're very close in scent, because each soap is a little bit different. And the soap can affect the scent too, the base and everything else. So sometimes you'll have a very similar, almost identical, in my opinion, scenting oil in a soap. You can tell they're almost dead ringers, but there's a little bit of variance, I think, just because of the way the soap is made. That's just me guessing at it, but.
Well,
No, you're right.
it depends like how much tallow is in there. Like tallow will affect the scent. Like our goat's milk one, the goat's milk has a naturally sweet scent to it. So
you mean the Chupacabra formula?
The Chupacabra
Right,
formula.
Chupacabra formula.
Okay, so to clear everything up, the Chupacabra formula is alternatively called the goat's milk formula. It's also the formula used for the Rust Belt Reserve. The Rust Belt Reserve are just our fancier, pricier ingredient.
Fancy scents
Took
with a
way
fancy
long
base.
to.
I meant to ask you this earlier and I got sidetracked. So one of the knocks on Shannon's has always been, since basically the beginning, labels.
Yeah.
And we have seen an evolution of labels. Some people complain as if they've never changed. And if you saw some of the very early ones,
Oh no!
these to me are simple, but they're still classy, and that's good enough for me.
We hired someone for that one.
However, people still want more. Now, we were just in a conversation yesterday with some folks, and what I said was, look, if they have to tack $2 onto a soap tub because of the label, I don't want it. Leave it the way it is. If it was $1 or something like that, I might be open to that. But like if it's $2 or $3 just to put a new label on a soap, for me, because I am a shaver, I want to use the product. I'm not a collector. I'm not someone who just wants to display them. I do want to do videos and show them and have them looking nice. But I don't collect things just to sit around or to show people and say, "Ooh, I have this." I want, what's most important to me is what's inside. Now, I do want it in a durable container, and I would like it to look nice, but it's not, to me, of the utmost importance that it be a very fancy label. However, I will say, there are times where I see a label and it attracts me. Like, for example, the most recent version was the label Raza did for Zingari Man, the Merchant. It's just a beautiful painting-like label that was just fantastic. And that caught my eye immediately. But are there any plans to do anything with labels?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, two things.
Yes, they are coming. They'll be updated. It's sort of a similar theme.
I think with the standard formula, the soap is $11.95.
I like it the way it is for the standard.
So
if we go with like the nice thing about those labels is that they're easy to update. Or what's the word I'm looking for?
It's flexible.
There's some flexibility with those, so I don't have to have.
There's a template there, and we can change the text out and change the ingredients out and things like that fairly easily. So it keeps the cost down on those. For the premium stuff, we could think about going a little more upscale with those. But I think the
now here's an important
Hornet,
question.
I don't know anybody's
Hornet, I've been hit by several folks from the UK, and I know if you're having talks, don't let anything out that you can't discuss. But I do know there are people in the UK with interest. I know that for a fact because they've asked me.
Yes.
Working on it.
Something that I hated. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, there's some labeling stuff that has to be done. The labeling in the UK has stricter requirements. So if you look on the bottle, on the back of anything that is sold internationally, it's the tiniest print, and you can't read it. You need a magnifying glass. That's UK law, and some of the EU laws require certain kind of labeling, even for soaps. Like in the United States, it's a soap. Like I really could just put soap on the label, and people know it's a soap. And there's certain.
We are wild and free here in the United States.
We are wild and free here.
We're very lucky in that respect.
Yeah, because
I must say, one of the things that I thought originally, the first time I ever saw it, was janky as all get out. And I'm like, I hate that. And now I really appreciate it. And there's a reason for it. These sort of rivets in the side label, you can't miss that when it's next. It's kind of like Sterling's iconic green tubs. You can miss a Sterling soap. And when that is facing out, it's very, very easy to know that's Shannon's. And so for me, the first time I ever saw it, I was like, what is that? And then I was like, once you have a lot of other soaps, it begins to help you, I think.
It, you know, I think a lot of people have grown to love them. We have heard that in a number of reviews that people like we call them rivets. Rivets holding the label on. So
Johan from Shave and Butcher did a video today. And he asked, and I might have to save this one for when Shannon comes back. So, by the way, now's a good time for you folks in the comments to submit. I got some questions there. I heard her telling somebody to get the jammies. That's always good.
That's our boys.
It happens. When is Bananas in Pajamas released? Or Pajamas, as I like to say. Bananas in Pajamas, he called it, which I thought was funny. Johan from Shave and Butcher. He wants to know when Bananas in Pajamas is releasing. And I'm like, I'm thinking he's confused about the name of that one.
That might be some licensing issues, because Bananas in Pajamas, that is a kids show out of Australia.
I did not know that.
And
wow.
Our daughter used to watch it.
And the boys watch it too.
And
I did
our
not
sons
know that.
as well. So that she mentioned it earlier, that might have been where that came from.
Well, we'll scratch that because Johan was out in left field on that one, as oftentimes he is. No, if you haven't, by the way, if you've never seen his videos, he's a wonderful guy. You should check him out. He's a lot of fun. And he was just using Shannon's barbershop today and talking about how it was almost gone
today. I'm sorry.
We have seen his videos. He's out of is it Sweden?
Sweden.
No.
Where he's out of?
Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to ask him if he was the complaint department for Saab, that I could complain about my my struts that I just had to replace. So.
This is a great time for me to ask this question, since you brought vehicles into the conversation. Why do Ohio folks drive in the left lane all the time on the freeway?
Have you tried it, Chris?
There is a right lane. You can get over.
Have you tried it?
Get over.
It's freeing. It's like you don't have a care in the. You're just over there and you're just.
I don't hang out in the left lane. I don't.
No,
left lane laggards is the official term, I think.
See, I need tires on my car, so I have to balance how fast I go. Because if I go too fast, if I go too slow, then it shakes, and if I go too fast, it shakes. So I have to find like the sweet spot. So I have to stay out of I can't do 80. Just give it a try, Chris. You'll love it.
Now this is a terrible question, but we'll humor Ben.
Okay.
I'm not reading it because I don't want the YouTube people to hear it. But basically, he wants to know: would you rather slam a door on yourself, or have a paper cut to the eye? And I don't know. I'm choosing none of the above. Like Brewster's Million, if you remember that movie.
Very, very appealing.
And if you've never seen Brewster's Million, watch it. It's a good movie. How would Mr. Shannon recommend making a lather? I think you have a tutorial on the website there.
Yeah, it's a picture thing. I like to bowl lather. I know a lot of people don't. I know you do. You like to bowl lather. Mm-hmm. But for me, particularly with new soaps that you're not used to, right? You see that question a lot, like on the Facebook groups, right? I'm not making a lather right. I can't lather the soap, whatever. For me, when you're doing it when you're lathering in a bowl, you have very precise control over what's going on. More, specifically the water that you've got. So you can add it just a little bit of time. You can see what you're doing. Add a little, mix it. Add a little more. Mix it. You have very good control over what you're doing. So I like to bowl lather.
And I like the idea of bowl lathering too. Scooping out a little bit of soap and putting it in. It keeps the soap. from getting too wet and from growing crap in it. Like you want to keep it, the more wet you get it, the more likely you are to bring in mold from your house and drop it onto your soap.
So there are mold deniers
Yeah.
in the community. And as someone who has seen it with my own eyes and in my own tub, I have told people that, listen, I'm not telling anybody never to load on your tub. However, when you're taking a brush to your face and you're putting it in the tub, you're introducing things in the
your
soap.
skin is going to grow the crap. Like if you get that skin in there, then the soap itself probably won't, unless there's extra stuff in it. Like the ones with milk, we're probably going to start.
Or chupacabra oil.
Yeah, chupacabra. No, the oil itself is probably not going to really grow mold. Like you don't see mold in a bottle of olive oil. Right?
So what can happen? But
it'll go rancid, but that's not mold.
What can happen that people don't realize is, so in a translucent tub like this, you can see it very easily. But in tubs that aren't translucent, everybody automatically assumes that this soap is perfectly sealed to the walls and there's no space. And what happens is, and I've actually shown pictures of it before, water can get trapped between the side and run underneath. And that's what happened to me in the first soap that I ever saw mold on. It actually formed because it ran down the sidewall and underneath. And so that's why I say it can happen. There was just a gentleman in the group yesterday showing bacteria growth. And when the folks just deny it, I'm like, I've seen it. It can happen. It's rare. It doesn't happen often. Rarely do you see it. But the other thing is, too, when you have to leave the soap out to air it out, because I think everybody universally agrees, if you're going to put a lot of water in it, make sure it dries before you cap it off.
Oh, yeah.
It's also out and exposed to everything in your house, pet dander, whatever's floating around. And so that's the primary reason that I lather in a bowl is simply because I don't want stuff in my soap. And that is not to tell anybody else not to do it.
As Lord Shady says, if it's the mold that's in your house, you can grow a sourdough, like a sourdough bread. You can start it just by leaving flour and water out, and the natural mold and yeast that are in the air will fall on it. So it's the natural crap that's in your house anyway. So you're breathing it in, you're accidentally licking it. It's around, so it's probably not going to hurt you. Unless you're really allergic.
Okay, that's enough mold talk.
Or you can scrape it off.
Oh, okay.
Like cheese.
Let's see. Do you rather receive orders directly on your website, or they're asking, would you rather people? And that's a very difficult question for you to answer, I would think.
No, I would rather people order from my distributors unless it's something that they can't get there. I like them to support them. It's good for everybody.
And when you say it's easier to send a big order to a distributor than to ship to 1,000 people?
It's cheaper. And it's our distributors ship a lot more product than we do, so they get better deals on shipping. So it costs me more to ship than it would cost Maggards or Razor Company or anyone else. So it's good for everybody. I can get a whole box, a huge box, 12 by 12 by 6 box to Maggards for $10. Like literally $10 to ship it. And versus if it's a small box here, like from Cleveland to California, it's $12.
Can we take a moment to recognize Marion the Barbarian, who's still schlepping packages because he said he's still schlepping in the messages. So he works for UPS. He's still schlepping. So. Marion, you're doing a great job schlepping.
Hi, Marion.
I think Marion used not silk pajamas, Forest City Fern, didn't you, Marion?
I don't remember.
On a live shave, I thought. Maybe I'm crazy.
If you tell Lather, that's fine. Just dry it out and make sure you have a clean brush.
Hey, Marion, we appreciate what you do.
And don't whine if it grows mold.
But I guess just to sum up on that point, however you guys want to order it is fine with us. We think you will get probably better shipping, and you can order more stuff, in one order from one of our retailers. And we do like to support them because us being in Maggart's and Razor Company and all those places really helps expose us. So expose us to lots of people, right? Lots of wet shavers. So I'd say we take it either way. Certainly, the margin is higher for us if you order it directly, but the retailers perform a function, and we appreciate them, and so either way is fine with us. What are you looking at?
Yes.
They sent
Poor Matt. Oh, that's Matt. I finally figured. Yeah. Matt's package he had the correct address on it, and it said insufficient address, and it's heading back to me. Maybe. I've checked the tracking. God only knows where it's at.
Oh, that's an interesting question on the screen here.
Oh, yeah, hold on. What were we talking about?
We finished.
Oh, so, but yeah, obviously there's some things that our retailers don't carry, like bath bombs and lip balms,
Sure.
and sugar scrubs, and I have,
So, are you going to do any inspired type fragrances at any point, or are you going to stick to the house stuff?
Possibly.
So they're not ruling it out.
No,
No.
We're not.
I tend not to, just because I don't think they always smell the way that I think they should smell. The soap just plays with the scent too much, even though most of the dupes are kind of pre-formulated, so they don't always work right in my base. But I do have dupes in the bar soaps. So I have a green Irish tweed that's Shannon River in the bar soap. What else? And then there's like a black pepper that's like a molten brown black pepper.
Shady. Shady says he's available for tributing
Shady.
also. So thank you, Shady.
You might get it before David gets one. Just saying.
What would the main note be there, Shady? What would the main
for the?
That's a good question.
Shady song.
Oh, the sandalwood is it's not sandalwood itself. It's a hydrosol. So in order they steam it, they boil it or whatever, and the steam comes off.
For the people on YouTube, they won't see the question. So it says, I was surprised seeing sandalwood and lavender lemongrass aftershave. What made you put sandalwood in it?
Okay, so it's a sandalwood hydrosol. So it's like a water, there's a lavender, there's hydrosols for everything. It's not an essential oil, but it has like the oils in it, but it's water based, and so it imparts a little bit of a scent. The sandalwood hydrosol is really kind of smoky, so it provides a nice deep undertone for a lot of the splashes. I don't use it in all of them, but I think it adds a little hint of smoke or deepness. Complexity. Instead of just being water. And
so the short answer is she liked it in there.
I like it in there.
Ooh. Would you rather lather moldy soap or shave with a rusty razor? I would rather lather the moldy soap.
Mold.
Yes, I would agree.
I would take my chances with the mold on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Just because the rust is probably also dinged up, and I don't need that.
I see the question, how are the tassels coming?
Yeah, that was a question. You can go ahead and address that if you like.
That's not going to be a regular product. That was just for Nate to protect his $1 million nipples.
The shaving disciple asks.
The rest of you don't necessarily have $1 million nipples.
Go ahead, read the question.
Okay, go ahead.
It says, what do you guys think of David's comment about brand name contributing to lack of exposure? And let me say one thing before you answer. Yeah. Years ago, many years ago, close to 10 now, a lot of us talked to Chris Cullen and said, hey, this name is just not cutting it, Jack. I mean, come on. And he stuck to it, and he was right to stick to it. He was right. And I can tell you from personal experience, when you rebrand, you set yourself back.
You can't. Yeah.
And so.
No, and that's
you're the king of rebranding.
Yes, and I'm the king of setting myself back as well.
I told you, you're a Harvard Business Review case study, is what you are.
No, but when we started, we weren't gonna do shave. Like shave wasn't even on the radar when we when we named it. Like we like talked to a couple of our friends who were like, "Oh,
this was really a side business." That to give her something to do when she was pregnant with our daughter.
What was after that?
Well, when you were at home.
When I was home with her before the other children came along.
The original was just bath bars. Were for primarily for women, and we kind of stumbled into shaving. So the idea was it was a side project. It was supposed to be simple. It was supposed to be natural. What's simpler or more natural than just her name? So we've kind of stumbled into this whole.
It wasn't a planned
shaving thing.
It wasn't planned. Otherwise, there would have been like if it would have even been on the radar, it would have been a different name.
Yeah.
Joking.
Someone told me I had to refill, so they're right. I had to get another. Brandon. So thank you, Brandon. You were correct. What inspires you? Like, what are the things that get you excited about making product? What when you see it just really makes you feel good, other than orders coming in?
Well, when you've got people, fans that become advocates,
the videos,
it's I guess at least for me, and you can answer, but I mean to see people really enjoy the product for me is very gratifying. Because it's something that we've created. You put a lot of effort into it. Certainly the money is money is nice, right?
Of course.
And believe me, guys, we appreciate that. Certainly we do. But people really being pleased with the products and showing them off, and the gushing sometimes when there's a thread that's going, and people contributing and saying how much they love what you've done. For me, it's great. Yes. I don't know if you have
like the videos that are like not that I don't love everyone in the United States, but when the soap goes further, and there's a video, it's like it's really touching. And
so we love you, Johan. Going. We love you. Basically.
Oh yeah, all my friends loved it. They're like, there was one. Oh, which one was it? Oh, it was somebody else. I'm sorry.
Portugal.
Portugal. Oh my God, I don't know his name. I'm really bad with names and
Claudio?
so I'm really sorry.
No,
not Claudio.
It was in Portugal. The guy had a store, something frog, black frog or something.
Oh, black frog. Yes, I think that's what it was. But it was like I'm trying to sit there and like I don't know any Portuguese, so I'm trying to like go by facial expressions to see how he actually is feeling, and like my friends were like, "Do you know anyone who knows any Portuguese?" So that was really fun.
Yeah.
So Art wants to know if you're going to make candles. No. Good. Thank you.
No. My insurance policy forbids me from making candles and selling them. You can make your own candles, Art. They're not. It's really simple.
I wouldn't rule it out ever.
No, I'm not making candles.
No plans anytime
I make
soon.
my own candles for me, so like you can just use beeswax.
I wouldn't say never.
I'm not selling them.
Okay. Never.
I've got too much other stuff.
Case closed.
No candles.
But you use you melt the beeswax and then add your fragrance and put a wick in. You can get wicks real cheap.
They want you to name your next soap Chupacabra. There you go.
Oh,
maybe not the soap, but maybe the base.
Yeah, the base should definitely be a Chupacabra base. That should be a thing.
We can make the goat's milk base.
Maybe.
So let's just call it Chupacabra.
Sure.
Easier, though.
Do you recommend blooming your soaps? We talked about that earlier.
I don't, but
I always say blooming is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
It could be the water that you have too. Like we have hard water, so it's not. I don't think it's as necessary. Some people might find that, depending on the kind of water they have,
you say it a lot, Chris. I mean, do what works for you.
Yeah. 100%.
I think that our soap is. It's not super soft, but it's soft enough that I don't think you have to soften it.
No.
But if you do it and it gets you good results, by all means do
Or
it.
if you let it dry out too much, like
That's true
these
too.
soaps, the natural soaps, whether they're the bar or the shave, they have their own natural glycerin in it, and the glycerin will exchange water with the environment. So you can, depending on how dry or wet your air is, it will bring more water into the soap or send more water out. Like the goat's milk soap, especially, I've noticed, will shrink up if it's drier in the house. If it's humid, we usually keep the HVAC on all year in this. Cleveland,
So you may
Cleveland,
need
if
to.
it's either the air's on or the heat's on, there's like 3 days in the spring and 3 days in the fall where you can turn it off, where it's not too hot or not too cold. So here it's always a constant temperature, but for people who might not be so might not have
David
their
has
set so
chimed
much.
in and saying he's at practice there. So thanks,
Oh.
David, for
Hi,
chiming in
David.
there.
We do have very hard water here.
We love you, David.
Yes, it also does shrink in the cold. So
Cold equals shrinkage for sure.
What would be the best possible conditions to keep a soap and aftershave, do you think?
dry.
Cold and dry, yeah.
Well, not too cold, but like room temperature and dry.
Well,
Yeah,
room
mine go
temperature
in-
some places could be 97 degrees
Okay, yeah, that's too
Fahrenheit.
So like 70, I would say like 65 to 80 is probably like where the way you would store like your cooking oils.
Hanging
Similarly,
with
because
JT?
because the oils will eventually go rancid. So you want to store it in kind of the same kind of conditions you might want to store your olive oil. Like you're not going to store your expensive olive oil next to the stove. That's very bad for it.
And as you stated, you want to keep them dry. You want to let them dry out and all that. So
Does Aussie ice hit you in the face with cold? Is the question.
I don't think so. It's
It's
not
a
a face
mild-
freezer, but it lets you know that it's there, but it's not a face freezer, I would say. The question is about Aussie ice. Does it hit you in the face with cold?
And I think the name was inspired because it's got eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus and spearmint.
I was thinking about koalas and eucalyptus, so I thought of Australia.
Social
Bye, shaving
limited
disciple.
lives.
Actually,
So Nate, do you have any questions this evening? I want to make sure to give Nate an opportunity because he's high
I want to
maintenance.
say, Reed, we will watch your video a little later today. We were doing cake with the kids.
Birthday
Cake for number 14 for our daughter. So
14, wow.
Yes, she's actually got them under control. It's been over an hour.
Oh, she's doing great. Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap up because I know you have to go mind your younglings.
Well, they are ready for bed.
What's coming up? What's anything new you want to talk about before
What's next?
Oh,
yeah, what's next?
There's a whole list.
Or what that you're willing to talk about?
Keep an eye out for Razor Company. They will have some stuff coming
Some new
their
things?
way next few weeks. It's already probably by mid-April, depending on things come together.
The Indigo Oud is coming.
Indigo Oud is coming probably early summer, depending. I know, and then there's some other special projects. The one is about 120 jar, 120 bottle, roughly, project on top of the other things. So
some additional distribution. We kind of hinted at folks across the ocean.
no bacon. Well, maybe
might have
like
some
bacon.
Easier access to our soaps.
That's
come
good.
soon.
That would be great.
Again, it's a work in progress. It's not automatic, but we're working on it. So
yeah, just the labels are gonna take a little bit.
Yeah, labels too are something that we are working on, folks. We know.
But I agree with you, Chris. I don't want to have to increase the price of the product for a label. Like the prices for oils are already going up. I don't want to have to, add. Not that I don't love a pretty label, because I'm a girl. I like all the cute little bottles, all the cute little labels. But I also like what's inside. It has to be good what's inside. But I also like if I could choose between an ugly package or a plain package, and if I could knock a couple dollars off, I would probably do that.
Nate,
$1,000,000 nipple soap.
Low Scent Skeletor said he's waiting for his now everybody's waiting for a tribute soap. See, it
I
gets
have
out
a
of hand
goat's
very
milk
quickly.
nil.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nate's tribute soap is goat's milk nil because it's no scent.
He doesn't like no scent. He likes low
Well, it
scent.
smells very nice.
Close to no.
It has its own natural scent, so that would be perfect.
We'll think about the nipple scent.
Art, what do you want? What samples?
Art wants chupacabra.
That's
what he
asked
said
for
earlier.
Samples.
Hope to get a
tried
sample or 3 with my orders.
Well, you
if
do
you're
sell
nice,
samples.
I know,
Sure.
but if you're nice, and some of them aren't up. Like I know there's a couple that I don't have up as choices. It's just oversight. Our website is kind of ugly because we do it ourselves. So I do miss stuff from time to time. So like I don't think there's a sample for, what is it? I think it was barbershop might be missing or something. But
We'll try.
So, if generally speaking, I try to throw stuff in.
And we do sell samples too because, look, we don't want you to get a whole tub of soap that you don't like.
Yeah.
So if you want to get a sample,
I like that.
Well, a lot of artisans don't do it because it is kind of a pain in the butt to do it. It's not a lot of money coming in, and it's not easy to cram a small sample of soap into that little package. But we want you to be happy with what you buy. So order samples if you want to order samples. Sure.
Do you think the vetiver is similar to the fresh vetiver from Fine? I don't know. I have 2 vetivers. I have the Market Vetiver, which is a really darker. It's got a really deep oak moss in it, and some woods. And then there's Valley Parkway, which is bright and light. It's there's a lot of lavender in it, a little bit of rosewood. I know you don't really like the woods, but it's not really a wood. It's more rosy wood than wood, and that's got a hint of vetiver in it.
Brandon says, make Nate a soap you could save on essential oils, meaning you don't need to put a lot of scent in there. So.
I know, but if the nice thing about the soaps that don't have the oils, it's like you get more soap because you don't get the oils. You can mix your own oils in it.
Banaka wants to know what's a good lady scent, or maybe a scent that a lady might appreciate that you have.
The fig and apricot is probably my favorite one. I make it in a bar. I make it in sugar scrubs. I make it in everything because I just love it so much.
Maybe
that brings up a question.
Rose too.
Copaiba rose, because it's a beautiful round rose. It's not like an icky sweet rose. I love that rose.
Why do some of the artisanal bar soaps? It seemed like you wash and they're gone. It's like, what happened to it? It's gone. And then if you have a bar of Irish Spring, I can never finish it. It's like,
I can tell you.
Will you leave me, Irish Spring? I've had you for 6 months.
Because the Irish Spring and those commercial soaps have their glycerin removed. So the glycerin, we talked earlier. Oh goodness, what is that? So the glycerin will bring water in and exchange it with the environment. It'll kind of melt a little faster, and it depends on how the soap is made. Like or how long you let them dry between making them and using them. So like the cold process soaps tend to last a lot longer because they have like a month.
Why do they sweat sometimes? Like it's almost like there's
glycerin.
Okay.
The glycerin brings what, like if it's humid, the glycerin wants it, and so the glycerin will grab it, and then it's just so you want to keep it dry. Like we found, since we moved here, we have new sinks here that we couldn't use our favorite soap dishes, and so it took us almost 2 years to finally find a soap dish.
Get a good soap dish that drains.
You have to get one that drains. So I found one at Bed Bath & Beyond. It's a lucite one that actually has Wamsutta.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Get a good soap dish that drains.
It has drain holes in it so that the soap stays dry. Because the longer it stays wet, the more it melts. So if you keep it in the shower, that's fine. But you need to make sure it's got those drain holes so that it can dry.
They sell like 3M little soap dishes that you could stick anywhere that have drain holes in them. And
those ones work.
Stuff like that.
But I couldn't find like one I wanted to set next to like a sink. like a
Right.
nice one,
You need
like a
something nice
decent
looking.
looking.
Yeah.
Like all of them were for the soaps that would all my soap would just melt.
And I think also a milled soap will last longer too.
Yes,
And
that
since
probably.
milled soap is compressed,
Yeah.
so
hmm
it's has all the water squeezed out of it,
Yeah.
and that I don't think that water can get back in as easily. So
Yeah, I had a bar of Irish Spring and I ordered some artisanal soaps. And I've been wanting to get to the artisanal soaps, but I
Yeah.
can't use up the Irish Spring. It won't go. And I'm like,
You put
I'm
it down
trying
the
to.
dish disposal and run it in the disposal and
I
let it
don't
in the
waste.
disposal.
I also don't waste stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to
Oh,
use it and
I
put,
think
put.
it works for bugs
this
too.
is Mr. $12
Or you put it in
soap.
your, you can put it in your shoes. I think the Irish Spring, isn't that the one you can put in your shoes to get rid of foot stinky?
I don't know, but it
They
lasts a
don't
long time.
Okay.
I like that. Okay,
Lavender.
well, that's where we will. And well, actually, what would you like everyone to know about Shannon's before we leave? Parting words, if you
I mean, just for me, again, we appreciate you guys so very much. You know, we love to hear what you like. We love to hear your experience with our soaps. We're very happy to see it out
Yep.
there and people enjoying it and spreading the word. If you like our products, the best thing you can do is put us in a shave of the day photo and let other people know about them.
Yeah.
We appreciate what guys like you, Chris, do, and Nate and David, and anybody else, Mel, anybody else I may be forgetting. Anthony.
Oh,
certainly.
I love Anthony's videos because
Okay.
they're funny. He makes me smile.
Okay.
Not that he's got a personality.
Well, we appreciate that very, very much. Yeah, I mean, just go tell a friend if you like our products. Go tell a friend and know that we appreciate your business, and let us know your experience. Feedback is really valuable to us. Good or bad.
Yep.
If you have a bad experience or you have a suggestion or whatever, we're on Facebook. You can hit us up through the website. Whatever, we want to hear about it. We want to know what you think, because that's the only way that we're going to get better.
Yeah.
And
well,
go
thank
Browns.
you very much.
Well, and
Go ahead,
really,
Shannon,
like the
I'm sorry.
indigo, I started sending out the indigo oud samples like last year, and there was probably, I sent a ton out before I heard anything about it. And then it's only been recently that I was like, when can I get it? I'm like, ooh, I've been sending this out for
So
like,
tell us what you think. We
Yeah.
love to know.
So
look at
last
the
thing,
cover.
yeah, because someone
What's
wants to
on the cover of
know.
our soap labels? Oh, I wish I would have read
That is the Guardians of Traffic,
So in Cleveland, there's a bridge, the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge,
also known as the Hope Memorial Bridge,
for Bob Hope.
for Bob Hope's father, who was a mason that helped to build that bridge. It is on the National Register of Historic Places, I believe. So yeah, those are sculpture. They're huge pylons. They're called the Guardians of Traffic, and they're on the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge.
The bridge spans
Why,
the Powder River. It connects
this one
the
here?
east side to the west side.
Yep.
There's
Why
four of
doesn't
them.
he
That's one of
tell
the
the people to
guardians.
get over into the right lane? He's not
He's
a very
guardian
good
of
guardian.
traffic. He's not a criticizer of traffic. He's a guardian.
Well, and on that bridge, they added bike lanes, so maybe he can yell at the bike people instead to get out of the way.
The bike people need to get out of the
The
lane.
bike people.
Well, thank you very much, Brian and Shannon, for joining us.
No
I
problem.
really appreciate it. I wish
We
you
appreciate you having us.
continued success, good health, and all the great things that life has to offer. And thanks all of you for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it. Until next time, God bless you all. You all have a great night.